Hey everyone, happy Friday. Joe here at SportsGrid. It's time for a Puckett with Joe. We've got a beautiful doubleheader on this Friday night, and I can hardly wait for these games to kick off. My voice is pretty raspy this morning after just screaming again at my TV last night. Hopefully, you guys watched those games because those games were absolutely phenomenal. I really hope you guys had faith in the New York Rangers going back into Carolina, being able to win another one. Now, lots of people saying it was luck for the Breadmen, for Panarin coming out in OT and getting that goal with the changeover in transition. But I really do think that's the game. So we saw a fantastic game out of the New York Rangers, up 3-0 in that series. Game 4, the Carolina Hurricanes backs will be up against the wall. They're going to be dangerous in that one. We're going to work out a way to bet that when that game is on the slate for today. We got two beautiful games tonight. We were able to cash also the Dallas Stars and the Colorado Avalanche over that total. I think this series continues to be a high-scoring battle out there. The final score is not a true prediction of how that game really played out. 5-3 win for the Dallas Stars. So if you took Dallas on that puck line for the big win, you did cash. The Dallas Stars came out strong in the first period with 1 goal. 3 goals in the second, and Colorado finally woke up in that third period. There was an empty netter by the Dallas Stars, so Wyatt Johnston was held off the scoreboard in the last game. I'm not expecting that for the next one. And the biggest shocker for me was Nathan MacKinnon and Cale Makar. Very limited out there on the ice. It took their second and third line guys to be able to get stuff done as the Dallas Stars completely locked down MacKinnon and Makar. So I'm looking for an improvement in the next game out of both of those players. MacKinnon only had 3 shots on goal last night. Cale Makar the same. And I think Natushkin had, 1 shot on goal? Something super low out of Natushkin as well. So you guys, let's start looking at, it was Rantanen for 1 shot on goal. So just not what we would have expected out of those playmakers last night. Let's look at tonight's game. So like I said, doubleheader out there on the ice. I see you guys jumping in with the comment, taking the over on both tonight. I don't blame you at all, Joe, for taking the over, especially the Oilers and the Vancouver Canucks. I absolutely love that game to the over. I know I had to get on here early, was on the early lines on game time, or the early lines on SportsGrid, so decided to come on early for you guys. Okay. Instead of sitting in the sun on my porch. So that's what I'm going to do after this. I've got my huge cup of coffee, you guys. It's not full, so at least I can pick it up right now. It's a 2-hander when it is full of coffee. Does Edmonton play a defensive game today? No, I could see it, but their team has been really dominated by the Vancouver Canucks. We'll get into that game next. I can't see them playing that defensive game because that's not the core of their team. I think they're going to try to explode, especially in the first period. So we will be taking Edmonton in the first period on the money line. I think Vancouver could win that game, though, so I love the plus money we're getting on them. Let's look at the current lines right now. The Florida Panthers versus the Boston Bruins is the first game out there. Now, there's a couple of things I'm going to do with this one. The Florida Panthers are the favorite at -125 and +104 for the Boston Bruins. I really could see Florida winning this game off the momentum from game 2. I think it's a fair price at -125 here with the goaltending situation for the Boston Bruins. We don't know who's going to be in net tonight. We saw Swayman pulled in the last game. Allmark then came out. He allowed 2 goals on 10 shots on goal. So both of these goaltenders, question marks on how strong they can be in game 3 versus the Florida Panthers. And I do think it gives the Panthers the upper hand. At -125, I'm willing to take a shot. But I do think both of these playoff games tonight is a live betting situation just built to make money. I don't see huge blowouts by either of these teams, even though in the last game, the Florida Panthers did blow out the Boston Bruins. The Bruins on their home ice, I can hear people saying the disrespect at +104. I was actually really shocked by this line with the Boston Bruins coming in at +124 and the Florida Panthers at -125. I expected, honestly, with how the bookmakers have been favoring like Boston and Toronto, those are the teams at home you can never get really for that plus money. And every time you normally see it in the regular season, you're like, okay, I got to jump on that team. In this situation, though, Allmark and Swayman, so many question marks. Will Allmark be rattled? Will Swayman be rattled and then come into this game and allow quick goals and then be yanked again? I think Allmark in the last series, while he didn't look as strong, Allmark's still a strong goaltender. But I do think the Florida Panthers can pick him off. So I'm looking at Florida in this one. I will come back on Boston if Florida goes up in that first period 2-0. I could really see a storyline for that. Now, looking at this total, the 5.5, you got to think this one goes over that total as well. The Florida Panthers are so solid on the defensive side of things, but I do see the penalties coming. And with penalties, for me, comes opportunities for those goals and goals to be made. There's bad blood between both of these teams, and I expect those penalties to come quick and fast. Brad Marchand, I would be shocked if he goes that first 5 minutes without ending up in the box. And because of that, I'm going to look at the goal in the first 10 minutes. You guys know we have bet the goal in the first 5 minutes during the regular season so many times. The goal in the first 10 minutes has been way too juiced all season, and I was shocked looking here today. The goal in the first 10 minutes is only minus 134 on FanDuel. And yes, we still have to lay the juice, but this is a bet that was like minus 190, minus 185 kind of odds during the regular season. I do think there's a goal in the first 10 minutes at minus 134. I feel like it's an absolute gift. I do think with those penalties, those opportunities, someone will score quick. And I could see it even happening in the first 5. So I'm going to do a full unit bet on the goal in the first 10 minutes at minus 134. I'm going to put a quarter unit on the goal in the first 5 minutes. That's coming in at plus 194. Hopefully we can cash both those bets within the first 5 minutes and have both of them give us some money. So it's going to be an interesting night between these two. Look at Sam Reinhart for the power play points. He's been absolutely phenomenal during the regular season. Barkov was fantastic in the last game, 2 goals and an assist, so he was able to record 3 points. Brandon Montour, someone we talked about for that anytime goal, an offensive defenseman. I think we got him at plus 650 in the last game. I'm expecting him to come nice and strong in this game. And Sam Reinhart, like I mentioned, on those power play points, if you can't get his power play points, look for just his regular points. I would even take him 2+. He was able to record 4 assists in game 2. So I expect that same kind of energy. He will be on the top power play. And when we look at who's going to be the scrappiest out there, is it Sam Reinhart? Probably not. It's Brad Marchand, Matthew Tkachuk. Those two are going to be going at it nonstop out there on the ice. Okay. The second game, you guys are going to look at Pastrnak here. Yeah, Pastrnak is probably mad. That is for sure. Yeah, Brad Marchand. You know what? Love him or hate him, he is still leading this team for the Boston Bruins in goals. He's in postseason goals. He's absolutely phenomenal out there on the ice. I would look for him to convert. So Brad gets off to these runs, and I really do think he will get off to a nice start in this game tonight. I would definitely look at him to be able to come out and play phenomenal hockey out there on the ice. He's not disciplined enough to keep it up, though. The penalties will come out of him. The second game of our doubleheader tonight is the Edmonton Oilers taking on the Vancouver Canucks. Now, this one is a late game, so for all of you on the East Coast, I feel for you for sure tonight. This one kicking off at 10:10 Eastern tonight. This one has every opportunity of going to overtime. A minus 130 here for the Edmonton Oilers, plus 108 for the Vancouver Canucks. Total of 6.5, and I'm shocked they're giving us plus money to the over at plus 104 and minus 128 to the under. I can't take this one to the under, and I hear what you guys say about will Edmonton come out and try to play a more defensive game. They could. They absolutely could, but it's not Edmonton's heart and soul because they know Skinner is vulnerable. Vancouver showed that they can hit Skinner. The only way for Edmonton to win this series is to out-offensively play the Vancouver Canucks, in my mind. Now, Vancouver, on the other hand, I do think they want to pull Edmonton into their style of game, which is more of a defensive game. But you got to remember, the Vancouver Canucks, who finished first in the Pacific, We're a team that we're averaging 4.29 goals per game at one point in a long stretch during the season. So this is a team that offensively can come to play. Edmonton has all of those playmakers too. Now there's question marks on injuries, especially Leon Draisaitl. And that's what worries me most here for the Edmonton Oilers, if Leon Draisaitl will hit the ice, because we saw that momentum shift when he left the bench in the last game. He definitely was hurt. He didn't make practice yesterday. So I do think we won't see Leon Draisaitl in this game. I would hold him off until they get back to Edmonton for game 3 here. Edmonton going down 0-2 in this series isn't the end of the world for the Edmonton Oilers. This is a team that can overcome adversity. Now, who do I have to win the series? I do have Vancouver in 7, but I do think this goes back to Edmonton, and Edmonton's able to pick up 2 wins on their home ice. I think we've got a back and forth home ice kind of battle here. So I will look at Vancouver at plus 108 with that value we're getting on them, but I like Edmonton to come out and play that style of hockey where we see them absolutely punch Vancouver in the mouth in that first period and get the win in the first period. I'd be shocked if Edmonton isn't up 2-0 in the first period going into the second, where they're going to try to lock down on the defensive side of things. That's what we saw in the last game. We saw Edmonton really come out with that fire, with that rage, looking to start that game off hot, and they were able to. They just weren't able to finish it out, and they allowed Vancouver to be able to come back. Now, I do think the possibility of overtime between both of these matchups tonight is absolutely there. I will be taking both games to overtime. Looking at the Oilers in Vancouver, I will be taking the Vancouver Canucks in a live betting situation with the plus money after the first period. Now, I still like them at plus 108 right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a half unit on the Vancouver Canucks right now. I'm going to save my other half unit until this game kicks off, because I'd be shocked if Vancouver was a team to come out and score first. Their goaltender, the young rookie in there, Silos, he has been great, but he hasn't got that many shots. They're relying on the defense here to give him the protection. So if the Oilers come out with that fast pace, I really do think they will score first in this game, go up by 1 or 2 goals. We know how quick these two teams can score those goals. So this is going to be absolutely fantastic. Don't go to sleep in this game and wake up tomorrow to see one of these teams making that crazy comeback like last time. Thanks, Joe. Let's get those overtime bets. They being absolutely money. Zach Hyman, you know how phenomenal he has been. It is just crazy the amount of goals he's been able to get out there on the ice. So Draisaitl it's depressing. It definitely is for Edmonton fans. It's a hard thing to see. Pastor for the overtime goal. I like where you're going. Pasternak to score 2 goals and 2 assists. Plus 5,000. Man, that means that's going to be a high-scoring game. Boston will run away with that game if that is the case. So, you guys, all the best in all of your bets today. I will be doing a quick MLB Cup of Joes, so stay tuned for that. Also, if you haven't checked out the SportsGrid app, go check it out today. The links are below and above this video. You can also head on over to their TikTok. There's different content over there as well, so don't miss out on everything SportsGrid has going on. I'm going to enjoy sunshine today. We got some baseball going on in the little town right outside of Calgary. I'm going to go watch some of that, enjoy the sunshine. We actually have nice weather here in YYC. 77 Fahrenheit, I worked it out to be this morning, so 25 Celsius. It's going to be a great day. You guys, all the best in all of your bets. Keep smiling and drop in the comments what you're liking the best today. I want to hear it. Bye, guys.